The following program, though incredibly nerdy, is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised, and you probably shouldn't watch if you're an overly sensitive pussy.
Welcome on in. Can't believe you guys were late. You know, I was here. I was ready to go. Adam was like, hey, I think chat's going to need like 15 minutes. I was like, okay, geez, I guess. I freaking guess. I guess I'll give him 15 minutes, you know. Not me. I didn't need that shit, though. I was ready to go. It's all good. I understand. You know, you guys, it's probably had just a crazy weekend. You know, it's probably difficult to get going, getting into the tower. I totally understand. I know. Exactly, Adam. I'm basically for the people. You know? But the people are retired. Ain't I a stinker? Welcome on in, motherfuckers! Welcome on in! Welcome on in. And look, I'll tell you, the real reason I was late is actually really cool. Okay? So I was late because I was recording a video, which is the full plot leak for Avengers Doomsday, the new one. And dude, it's way more involved than I thought. So I was like, I just dropped like a 40-minute video on Pavik on the new editor. Holy shit, we'll see how he does. it's a chunky boy, but I decided I wanted to do that as a main channel video. I just wanted to just react to it, really focus on the takes, what's in there, what's not in there. That'll publish probably either tomorrow or Wednesday morning on the main channel. I'll let you guys know about it. But it's really cool. There's some aspects of it that I still think aren't exactly right. There's some things I think they're still kind of hiding, but that leak's great. And I think the main thing about that leak is, even if you don't follow the plot leaks like that, even if you're not interested and you don't want to go down that rabbit hole, it sounds so much better than a lot of the other leaks we've had. Okay, it legitimately sounds so much better. So even if you're not going to read it, even if you're not going to watch that video, just rest assured, we've had some plot leaks that didn't sound all that incredible. This one sounds absolutely fucking incredible. Of course, you always got to take with a grain of salt. You never know for sure. But yeah, so that's why I was late. It was actually, I was working right up to 11, and then I needed a little bit of time to get ready for this stream here. But ooh, it's exciting times. It's exciting times. The new leaks do sound lit and line up with a lot of what we've been talking about on the channel, says the young MD. Yes, that is true. That is true. Again, watch the video because I break it down in great detail. There's some interesting things in there. There's stuff with like Mystique that I think people are missing and not really giving enough credence to. Really interesting, implying some stuff about the multiverse. I'm getting really excited for this movie, dude. I was already excited for it, but I'm getting really, really excited for it. You know what else? You know what else, Chad? Over the weekend, and it was actually yesterday, I spent a little bit of time. I spent a little bit of time here looking back at all the streams and the videos from when RDJ's announcement first came out. How many of you guys were here for these times? Look at how shitty the background was. I can't believe I just had the background like that for like years. God, I'm such a schlub. But how many of you guys were here for this exact stream or for any of those streams the week of? So basically the way it works is they had that stream Saturday night, right, for Avengers, the San Diego Comic-Con. And they had, obviously RDJ came out. It was really, really crazy. Then we streamed all that next week. So I think we streamed like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We might have taken one day off because I think I was a little burnt out. And nowadays I only stream 3 days a week. You know, it's so much better. But man, that was a crazy week. Rob came on. I will say too, as I watched these different streams, like here, let me just give you a little taste here, okay? This was like the first time I think I mentioned the theory. Stark was always adopted. So they go back and they're like, oh, Tony Stark was not actually the biological child of Anthony Stark. That's in the comics. Instead, he was adopted. Okay. So what I think might be crazy and what they could do is in many universes, that is what happens. This young child named Victor is adopted by Anthony Stark and becomes, or Howard, sorry. Yeah. And becomes Tony. But what if in one universe that doesn't happen and the kid isn't adopted and that kid becomes the actual proper Doctor Doom? So the big twist would be the person you thought was Tony the entire time when you watched all of the Marvel movies was actually Victor Von Doom that was adopted and given the life of Tony Stark because of, I don't know, maybe Kang or somebody else that was messing with the timeline, like the Maker or something. Yeah, so this is like the first time, and also too, I will give a little bit credit to a guy. I think Andreas was his name. There was a guy in chat that brought this up, like on one of those streams with Rob, and it did kind of make me think about it a little bit more. And I was like, yo, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, look at how crazy the lighting was. It was just such a shitty setup. The lighting was terrible. My hair was terrible. The background was terrible. Everything was terrible. But you know what wasn't terrible? My ability to predict what Marvel Studios was doing. I think I was onto it back then. It was actually kind of cool, man. I went back, I watched it. I watched the stream with Rob. We all had wildly different ideas back then. Even some of you probably had ideas. And in fact, there was a stream where that week where I had everybody put their favorite or their best theory on the RDJ thing into the Discord. And you guys had the most outlandish, crazy ideas. People were hyper fixated on maybe dream walking or the body swap thing that Rob had popularized. People were like really certain that was gonna be it, that they were using Tony's body or something. And it wasn't until that, which by the way, this was July. Oh, I gotta find the full details here. When was that? I think it was just a day or two after the official announcement. Doom streams forever. August 1st. So the big stream was July 29th. Or no, sorry. The big stream was July 27th. We then streamed that Monday, July 29th. We then streamed 2 days later, July 31st. And then it was August 1st. So it was like a week. Within that week was the very first time that I started to put together what would eventually become my theory. I did some videos then in that August, which blew up on the main channel and things of that nature. But that was when we started cooking. And man, I loved that conversation that I had with Rob. It was great. But bro, we did not even we were not even really on the adoption theory and on the retcon theory at that moment. So it was kind of cool. It was cool to go back and see what everybody was thinking back in the day. You know what I mean? And the reason I was looking back at that was because I am doing a new video. I've been working on the script. I'm going to do another thorough breakdown that once and for all is going to explain this thing, where the theory came from, when I started thinking about it, how it materialized over time. Because the thing that's really wild is the more information that came out, the more the theory seemed to ring true. To this day, I have not heard a single thing from an insider or a scooper, other than like one thing Alex Perez said where it seemed like he was trying to throw us off the scent, to be honest with you. But I haven't heard a single thing from a reliable scooper or anybody from Marvel Studios that makes me believe the theory is not true, that makes me think I was crazy for thinking that, which is kind of wild because it's been years, guys. It's been years, and the theory is still alive and well. So isn't that kind of interesting? What do you guys think about that? The young MD says, your theory is defo true. The more that comes out, the more this is plausible. It reads like the Kang, Reed Richards, Nathaniel Richards connection. Yes. Yes, because the theory came from chat. Yeah, so I looked at that too, Kendall. It's a guy named, I think he was Andre or Andreas. It's not Andreas, but it was a guy named Andre or Andreas. And he was the first person that put that theory out there in chat. Unfortunately, I can't find exactly what he said, but in this stream, after I talked about it, he was in chat and he was like, that's my theory, stop stealing it. And I was like, no, I'm going to steal it. But yeah, pretty interesting, huh? Pretty crazy. Rossi, thank you for the rose. Sasha Tree says, Doomsday meetup in cosplay win. I would love to, brother, but I'm not going to do anything like that until next year for Secret Wars. I'm just juggling too much. I mean, have you ever heard of Unity? It's this comic that I have that's years behind, and I actually am working on it and really trying to get it out there, but I can't like do that. I got a lot going on. I can't do the meetup this year. Okay, we got to get some fucking ducks in a row here, and then next year we'll do the meetup for Secret Wars, and it's gonna be fun. We'll all dress up like 1602 Battleworld people. It'll be really cool. We'll watch the movie. We'll rent out a theater. We'll watch the movie, and then we'll immediately go somewhere and do like a live podcast, breaking it down. A lot of you guys will be there. We'll get you on at least the microphone so you can do some Q&A stuff. It'll be awesome. So not this year, but next year. Sir Olivia with the 10 spot says, bro, why do you think we watch your content? You're literally the best source of comic book movie news, LOL. By the way, my medieval sci-fi AI film will be talked about on this channel one day. Stand by, Discord. Oh, dude, I'm about it, man. And thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. And I am one of those people that fully supports AI. Did you guys see what Dr. Dre said about AI? Not to sour the mood and get you guys all triggered, but you're all wrong. Dr. Dre's right. I mean, if you don't understand what he was saying in that, then like, I don't know, you're hopeless, basically. I can't even argue with you because you don't understand what the fuck. He's exactly right. He's exactly right about AI. Only people that can't actually create are threatened by AI. That's true, I think. So I will definitely check out your AI movie. And I can't wait to make my AI movies. And it's going to take over. Fuck you, Hollywood. But we don't have to sour the mood. You know what I mean? It's okay if you disagree. You're just wrong. Jabber Nasty says, hey, Josh, did you see the ticket sales for Doomsday are 65% higher than Brand New Day? That's crazy. There's no way the movie doesn't get to 2 billion. Oh, yeah, it's going to open to 1.5 billion, Jabber. Yeah, it is insane. We did talk about that last week. It is pretty crazy, brother. But yeah, man, it is... It's looking to open pretty big. You know, it's gonna be a big opening, man. VTJ Production says, a poem on my weight gain. Marvel drama mama. My Tommy Bahama has gotten tighter since seeing the spider from all the movie soda. THC early today. Yeah, I could tell because that is not a great, that's really not a great poem. You know, look, poetry's subjective. Maybe some people like it. I think it was pretty bad, brother. You know what I mean? So look, you're probably vibing though. You're like, ah, fuck it, I don't care. I feel you. You're probably vibing, feeling really good right now. You got to be, because that poetry was terrible. Sasha Tree says, how many super chats for Unity then? No super chats needed for Unity. The money's not the problem. The fucking chaos of life is the problem. Don't worry, it's gonna come out. It's gonna be amazing. You're gonna hold it in your hands someday, and you're gonna be like, wow, this is really nice and girthy, and was worth the wait, and I'm very satisfied to have this in my hands. Okay, let's keep going here. Rhythm City RM says, unrelated, but has anyone did a deep dive about the Illuminati being featured on Tony Stark's phone in Iron Man 2 during the hearing? Would be cool to retcon that in a future movie. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty sure Marvel is aware of a lot of these different things, and I do think they attempt to sort of pull them together. And so maybe that Illuminati thing could come up again, but that was a long time ago as well. But we'll see. You never really know, man. You never really know. Let me see if I have any other supers that I've missed here. I also want to say, anime fans, like, come on, man, where's the Bleach fans at? Did y'all watch Bleach, man? Did y'all watch Bleach, the new episode of Bleach? I gotta gush about it a little bit, and I'm also going to bring it up again when we talk about Lanterns, because Lanterns is all right, but holy shit, after watching Bleach, it's really hard to like be pumped about that Lanterns episode. We'll get there, but hey, any Bleach heads in here? Chat. Any Bleach heads in here? Lanterns is heat. It's all right, man. It's all right. No one cares about Lanterns? I think people care. Dude. Oh, bro, Bleach. Anime boring? Who the fuck? That's gotta be bait. Get out of here. Oh, don't worry. I'm gonna gush, man. I'm gonna gush about it. Yeah, dude, Bleach is so good. And it's like, it's just fucking hard. Like, it's hard to take the Western comic books and the Western comic book media apparatus seriously once you realize how crazy they're cooking with Bleach. Which, you know, the whole reason the Absolute Universe exists is because I think Scott Snyder saw the point that a lot of other fans were trying to make to him, and that is that anime is cooking in ways that the Western comics just aren't able to touch. And so now you're seeing DC and Marvel bring that anime shit to comics, bro. And to be real with you, it's all over Doomsday. I mean, Doctor Doom is just aura farming the whole time. He's stopping Thor with 2 fingers. Bro, that's anime shit. It's anime shit. So you're wrong if you don't like anime. Oh my God. Why you do this to me? Chat, why you get me so fired up here? You know, I was just trying to have a chill day. Let's see here. Scotty Gomez, member for 53 months, says, yo, been a while, guys. Hey, good to see you, brother. Thank you for the support, man. Darren Thompson says, I think Lady Death is working with Doom. I mean, that is maybe possibly in that new plot leak, and I maybe possibly believe it. It's pretty crazy. Let's see here. Marvel, hang on now. Gambit said they never had a Wolverine in the Void. That's true. Marvel barely putting any movie shows is much better for them. Was tired of getting 5 projects a year. Much love, brother. Yeah, I'm in the same position. I know there's some debate. You know, it's weird because I think we are going to get some announcements of some new live action shows maybe soon. And I've seen basically like Jeff Snyder and Alex Perez kind of like subtweeting each other and having this sort of argument about what's actually happening at Marvel. Jeff is claiming that they're going away from the shows, and because the shows were hurting them, and they're going to focus on popular characters or focus on really unpopular characters that they can have just at a short budget. And Alex is like, that's not true. They're going to do this all, whatever. We're going to find out, obviously. But I tend to believe Jeff is right. And I think that's why they canceled Wonder Man Season 2. Like, it's crazy to try to make the point that they're not actually going away from live action television when they're literally canceling shows. Right? But we'll see. Maybe a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Like maybe Jeff is onto something. Maybe Alex knows something. We're going to find out. But as far as I'm concerned, fuck them shows, bro. D Murdoch says, hey, Josh, first stream back in a while. Almost 40 months, Nerd Vengeance. Let's fucking go, Nerd Vengeance for life. I know we waiting for Henry's Warhammer, but what about Magneto, if not Cable? Hashtag Unity. Dude, it's a tough one for me, man. As you can probably imagine, the idea of a Henry Cavill Magneto really tickles my fancy. And by my fancy, I mean my balls. Pause. So yeah, I mean, I'd love, are you kidding me? Like the Witcher white hair, like Henry Cavill, hell yeah. Like it would be great. But I'm going to need that Warhammer. You know what I mean? So anything that, poses a threat or an obstacle to the Warhammer cinematic universe is just a no-go for me. So yeah, it's tough. I mean, I'd love that for Henry, but would I love that for me? My Warhammer loving heart. It's a tough one. Thank you, though. Thank you for the love, man. Thank you for the question. Thank you for the support. Random, but you saw this GTA leaker. Thoughts? So I didn't see too much. I assume what you're talking about is how they're trying, like New Rockstars is trying to like subpoena him or something, right? They're trying to take like legal action, right? Is that what you're referring to, bro? I have not really looked into it. Okay. But I will say this, if there's people that work there that are leaking proprietary stuff or like a hacker or something, like, yeah, for sure. They should be, I think, prosecuted. Some of that stuff gets weird though, because like I heard a story and I don't know how true it is. Rockstar Games, not New Rockstars. Yeah, same thing to me. I heard this thing and I don't even know how true it is, but I heard Warner Brothers was trying to take action against people that talked about Hal Jordan dying before the show came out. And you sort of get into this slippery territory, right? It's a slippery slope, which is a philosophical idea, but it's like, okay, well, certainly we want to stop leaks. And I wish we could find out who My Time to Shine is and Daniel RPK and like string them up in the town square, basically. Like I would be all for that. You know what I mean? But what does that mean? That the studios should then have more license to go after people that are just talking about leaks? Like, no, I don't think so. So sometimes you have like what's known as a necessary evil. So look, I haven't really looked too far into it. There's always overreach and overstepping. And then there's always like, okay, if we're thinking about how this should be protected in a rational, principled way, then there's a necessary evil element. But frankly, I haven't really looked into it far enough to get a full picture. Is that what they're saying? Like, are they trying to sue people? What's the deal? Can somebody TLDR it for me? What are they doing with the GTA shit? One of the big GTA YouTubers Discord got subpoenaed, not him. Wow. That's wild. Can you imagine if they subpoenaed us on our Discord and we had to defend or go over all the whack ass shit we say in our Discord? Our Discord is wild, brother. Like, I know I've said some wild shit on there. Don't go looking for it. But yeah, that would be wild. Expo City says Gunn not beating the wiener loving allegations. No, but he might be beating his own wiener while he's not beating the allegation. Okay, that was probably too far, but yeah, good point. Good point. Someone leaking GTA 6 using it to make money and crypto coin. Rockstars cannot figure out who it is. Oh wow, that's pretty wild, huh? Interesting. Okay. VGA Production says maybe Magneto jumps to Doom's side in Doomsday only if Doom promises to give Magneto his younger, stronger body back. That's how we get Fassbender in Secret Wars? Holy shit, that's a wild idea. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. But that would be wild. Can you imagine? I will give you Michael Fassbender's body. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, all of a sudden it's fuck these Avengers. You know what I mean? That would be pretty interesting. Curran Music says manga art looks so much better than the Western comics. Also, Doomsday isn't even on sale in Australia yet. I'm pumped. Are you from Australia? Can I give you my Australian accent? We're down under. Throw a shrimp on the barbie. Have a Foster's. Is that a kangaroo? It's so bad. It's so bad. I couldn't even. All right. Anyway. All right. Yes, but you're absolutely right about manga. You're probably scarred for life. You're probably scarred for life and you'll never come back to the channel. But also, you're right about the manga. Rhythm City RM with a $20 says, I'm curious to know if in Secret Wars, heroes from 838 will attempt to avenge what happened in Multiverse of Madness. You know, there's a serious lacking of 838 in all of this, actually, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, it was pretty bad. The only worst accent is the Doom one. My name is Doom. What are you talking about? That's great. What are you talking about? But yeah, no, Rhythm City, I appreciate the super chat. I will also say it is kind of weird that there's no 838 in any of these leaks at all, right? What does that mean? I don't really know. I liked the 838 universe. I thought that was a fun addition and sequence, and I always hoped that there would be more to it. But yeah, not much in any of the Doomsday stuff, not much in any of the Secret Wars stuff. So I don't know. That's kind of an interesting thought. Connor says, maybe Doom saying, you live stolen lives is a reference to Josh stealing chat's theories and labeling them as his own. Yeah, that's probably a fair point. But guess what? I got them stolen lives. Just like Doom, I'm going to win because I'm going to make this awesome video. And you think I'm going to give Chad any credit in that video? Think again. Okay? And it's your fault for all the fucking Heather jokes, for all the questions about watching Darth Maul, for all the people like, what would it take for you to love Star Wars again? I'll tell you what won't help. Fucking questions like that. Expo City says Gunn not beating the wiener loving allegations. I already read that, but I felt like reading it again. OMG says, Josh, why are so many non-informed fans convinced that there are two Dooms and RDJ isn't the real one? I've seen this everywhere lately. Are people just dumb? Well, people are certainly very dumb, including myself. You know, we should all hold hands together and understand that we're all really stupid. We'd get along a lot better if we all realized that we're all just a little bit retired, as Wesley Snipes would say. As far as the rest of your question, though, I will say this. It's actually kind of interesting going back and looking at all those streams with the first week of the Doomsday announcement, because, dude, I was shocked at how many people actually thought that back then. Like, dude, it's actually kind of crazy. Like, there were a lot of you that thought that back then. And look, I think that the idea is Downey was going to cost probably $50 million per movie, no matter what. Okay? So if you present him as returning as Doctor Doom, and he like does that, but he's also back as Iron Man, and you're kind of hiding the Iron Man thing, That's a clever way to hide that we would have had to pay this dude $50 million either way. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, we're getting double roll now. So you're kind of like getting him for $25 million a piece if you really think about it. But yeah, a lot of people, even in the wake of the announcement, just believed for whatever reason that there had to be something more to it, that there was going to be another Doctor Doom. Of course, I don't believe that, and of course, I think it's a little bit silly to believe that. But to be fair to those folks, it's been a consistent theory that people have had since the beginning. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope that answers your question. Darren Thompson says, which heroes do you think will side with Doom? Well, in the newest plot leak, there's something really interesting there about Feige. I don't know exactly how to interpret it because we've heard other people kind of say that's not true. Like Alex Perez has kind of hinted that he doesn't think she's like an evil witch or whatever. I don't know exactly what to believe, but it's possible a lot of the heroes will side with Doom. But the question is, are those variants or are those the characters that we did actually get to know and experience throughout the Infinity Saga? So it's interesting, right? I'm not really sure, brother. Nick P with a $20 holla. That's very generous, man. Thank you. Says, I think Marvel is already going through the reboot. I think Kevin realized that they were building around characters that only 10 to 20% of the fan base wants to see. So Kevin said, let's go back to the projects people care about. Oh, yeah, 100%. That is what's happening. Whether or not we're going to get more television, whether or not they continue to do some obscure characters here and there, it is so clear. And the success of Spider-Man is the biggest case in point piece of data. Yeah, dude, it's all about the big characters. Like, no more C characters, no more even B- characters. You need B plus A tier characters. Not to say that you need the entire cast to be made up of them, but you need the heavy hitters to bring the crowds in. I think that's where we're at. And I think Marvel has absolutely realized that. So thank you very much for that support, man. Rossi says that Heather saves herself in the entire multiverse theory is your best. That theory is totally, completely your theory, not Chat's. Wrong. Oh no, reverse card. It's all your theory. And I should make an hour-long video talking all about Heather and just why you guys are the worst. But then I'd have to talk about Heather. Matt Spiro says, I'm now fully retired. I would like to thank you, Josh, for all of the help. Well, I don't know exactly what I did, but I will take credit for most of your ability to now retire. You know, and that's incredible. So congratulations to both of us. You know what I mean? Congratulations on the retirement and congratulations on me for being the best. Rhythm City RM with a 10 spot says, I wonder if one of the Fantastic Four will randomly see a picture of Tony and ask if that Tony was corrupted. That would be very interesting. Yeah, so look, we'll talk a little bit more about this on Wednesday because I've got the full plot leak video that's going to come out hopefully tomorrow. My editor has it right now. And it's a fucker of a video. It's like a 40-minute video. So we'll see. Maybe he'll have it all ready for tomorrow. But there's basically no mention of Victor showing his face in that plot leak. But it's strange that that's coming from the Russian hackers, but we're also getting all these images from the Russian hackers, which show or seem to show RDJ showing his face. So what's that about? How do you square that circle? Well, we're going to talk about it probably on Wednesday. I want to give folks a chance to watch my video breaking down the full plot leaks because I go into a lot of interesting stuff, and then we'll touch base with that on Wednesday. But it is interesting, man, and thank you for that 10 spot. Ibze says with a 10 spot, I hate it when people bring up the inflation point when it comes to the box office results. Yet, yes, inflation exists, but so do 50 other variables, one massive one being streaming. Spider-Man is a massive success. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, man. If people are actually trying to use inflation to say that Spider-Man is not a gigantic fucking hit and one of the biggest successes ever, then they are that's bad faith. Like, that's just stupid. I think the inflation argument is important when you compare Spider-Man to other massive movies like Avengers, Endgame, Titanic, the first Avatar. I actually think that's fair because you're talking about movies that it's technically beating, and the inflation either puts them level or puts the other movie ahead of them. So inflation in this instance is important because it does make you reconsider where that movie actually falls in the upper echelons of movies like that have ever existed. But regardless of that, the ability to break into that club in any way is a monumental success. That's insane. So it's a massive success. Are there really people trying to say it's not a massive success? That would be such a boneheaded, that would be such a boneheaded take, you know? I heard Luke Cage will be in Doomsday missing $200. Can you imagine if that's how it all ends? Like Mike Coulter comes out of a portal at the end and he's like, I need my $200. And then he starts whooping Doom's ass. That would be amazing. That would be perfect. I'm all about it. That would be great. Josh, what does that button do? The one you keep pressing? Oh, it mutes the mic. Yeah, it's to mute the mic. Chatter is right. Inflation is garbage stat that was only ever used as cope. Merle is wrong for using it. Campia is right for not using it. What? We got a Campia defender here? We got somebody defending Campias and saying that Dan Merle's is not the one? I think when it comes to charts and box office, Dan Merle's pretty undefeated. But I get your point. I can see him shaking Doom down for $200. Wouldn't that be amazing? Mute it again, please. Yeah, I bet you'd like that. 2 hours of me muted? All right, chat. Should we get into some topics? Should we start to make some donuts here? Or should we talk a little bit about Bleach real quick? Real quick, man. Bleach 1000-Year Blood War Part 4 Episode 5 debuts with a perfect 10 out of 10 IMDb rating. This thing was for a very long time over the weekend the highest rated episode of television ever. I'm not talking about anime. I'm not talking about nerdy shit. I'm talking about ever, period, of all time. For as long as people have been sitting in front of televisions and watching television shows, this episode was the highest rated episode of television ever. It has dropped to a 9.9, and all the Bleach fans are saying the same thing. Review bombing. That's review bombing. Get the fuck out of here. The fact that it dropped from a 10 to a 9.9 must be artificial. It must be review bombing. My God, they cooked with this episode. Okay, let me tell you just a little. I know. We're going to get into the Marvel stuff. We're going to talk. Just relax. We're going to talk lanterns. Just relax. Unclench. And just let me talk my shit. Okay. Listen, Linda. I found out about this episode. It was all over my timeline ever since it came out. I think it was like late Saturday. People were losing their mind. And I was like, yo, I gotta watch this. I can't fucking believe it. And then I realized I hadn't watched any of the new arc. So yesterday in the morning, we sat there, we had a nice breakfast, and my wife and I literally binged. We watched all of those episodes yesterday. And bro, there's really nothing like Bleach. Oh my God, the aura farming, the character moments, the action, the animation. It's so peak, dude. It's so peak. They really don't do it like they do it in Bleach anywhere else in the nerdy space. It's absolutely incredible, man. Are you guys... Bleach's butt? The fuck? Get him out of here. We got... How many of you guys... Because you guys get so butthurt when I talk about Warhammer, even though it's absolutely amazing, okay? How many of you guys don't like anime or like 0% into anime? I'm just curious. Because I think that's crazy. Like, I think that's crazy, dude. Like, we love Marvel. You know, we all got into Marvel. We're all excited about it. It's got a lot of that same shit, dude. The nerdy shit is great. Anime is great. Warhammer is great. You got to branch out. Oh my God, here's Joshua Campbell Bluegrass again. Anime is ass. Yeah, you used to say that about Warhammer too, and now look at you. And now look at you. Yeah, if you're only into superheroes and Star Wars, you're missing out. Totally agree. Totally agree, man. A lot of these other creators are cooking. Isn't Bleach what Gunn used on his head? Good one. And yes, he did do that. Only Dragon Ball is good? Get out of here. Get out of town. Dragon Ball's great, but like, come on, man. Kidding me? I just started JJK about a month ago, and I saw your name in theater. I'm a newbie. Yo, so your name is great, by the way. I love that movie. We actually on Saturday night, was it Saturday night? No, it was Friday night and a little bit of Saturday morning. My wife, she loves JJK. I could never get into JJK, but we skipped all the way to episode 10 and I did like 5 episodes of JJK from episode 10 and now I'm in. So we're going to go through JJK together as well. So I find that she finally got me into Jujutsu Kaisen. She's been trying for a long time. So she finally got me into it. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, some Gundam is good. Gundam's good. Yeah. Yeah. I think the things that anime do that Western stuff doesn't do as much is, number one, the women are all super sexy and like, yes, they're cartoons. Okay, but let's just say it's still doing its job. And the women are sexy, the men are heroic, not like strictly, but you actually allow that to happen. The fan service in Bleach is crazy, dude. Like I was telling my wife, I was like, did this show get hornier or did I get hornier? You know, either way, I'm down. So the fan service, absolutely incredible. The action, dude. And the power scaling, it's so awesome. It's so over the top. It's so creative. I think anime gets really creative with the way the powers happen, the way the powers scale up, the way that, you know, you get to a level of power, you face a bad guy that washes you, and then you have to get even more power. That's like a trope in anime, but I really, really like it. And the villains are so good. The villains are so good. So yeah, I really like anime. I had so much fun binging Bleach yesterday, and it actually hurt my ability to enjoy the Lanterns show. Okay, so we'll come back to that in a little bit here. But first, I want to talk about the Wonder Man just for a second here. I know. But just relax, because I want to talk about Wonder Man. This is a good teaching moment when it comes to data and numbers and analytics and all this sort of stuff. So let's briefly talk about this, because maybe some of you are still butthurt about Wonder Man being canceled, and I want to explain why that's a good decision, okay? So, and let me just double check this, but I believe this was The Town, right? This was Matthew Bellany. Let's double check. What the hell? Oh, it's the hot mic. Okay, so it's probably Jeff Snyder. Okay, well, it's good that we clicked through on that, okay? So, I wanted to talk about the cancellation of Wonder Man, because some insiders are giving us more info on this, and I saw some pushback to this, and I think it's a great way to set the record straight and explain what's actually going on here. So, according to Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic podcast, Wonder Man was reportedly canceled because it was by far Marvel's least watched live action show. Now, I believe this, but it comes with a major asterisk and a caveat. And as many people have pointed out, when Wonder Man debuted, there was a lot of information either through the trades or even due to Luminant, who's an analytics company, that showed you numbers that made it seem like Wonder Man was a big old success. Chat, I'd like to know. Let's just see here for a second. Are you guys not believing Jeff here? Are you one of the people that thinks he's wrong and that this is some kind of narrative thing and that Wonder Man had incredible viewership and Disney's canceling it because they're bad and they're wrong think and they don't like peoples and fans and shit like that? Are there anybody out there that actually believes that Wonder Man had good viewership? I'm just curious, man. The reality is, when you look at the data that came out there, and also, Phil, that's an incredible $50 holla. I really appreciate it. Give me a second, man. Let me cook on this, and then we'll address that 50, okay? So when you look at the Luminant numbers, and it has it like right behind Daredevil Born Again, and you get these articles about how it's like the second biggest show on Disney Plus in 2026, and all of this stuff, you have to understand that data can be interpreted in many different ways, but the people that have the most raw data, which is Disney, it really behooves them to understand the fucking data, right? So if you recall, Wonder Man all came out at once. Okay, so it was a binge title, and I think it had, what, 8 episodes, guys? I'm not 100% sure because I didn't watch it. I watched like 5 minutes of it, and I turned it off. Which, by the way, a lot of people probably did that, which they saw in the data. But let's just keep going here. So, it had a huge amount of views. But that's because it had 8 hours of content, and they count minutes watched. Okay? And because it came out as a binge, all the people that did want to watch it all watched 8 hours or so of content in that 5-day window. And so the numbers looked really good because of the binge. Okay, but there's stuff within the data when you look at it a little more closely, which, by the way, it actually was in the Luminant article. Luminant made this point. It's just a lot of the people that want to glaze Wonder Man, like, looked past it. Luminant had even brought this up, and Luminant's really good with their data. They break it down in a lot of interesting ways, okay? So, what you're really looking at here was a lot of data that suggested that the vast majority of those views were people trying 1 or 2 episodes and giving up. And there were people that watched it, the whole thing, of course, and that inflated the numbers. But then weeks and weeks later, and maybe even months later, when they looked at how that data was happening over time, they realized it had like basically no value to the types of consumers they're targeting with this kind of content. Okay, so it's incredibly front-loaded. And the data they saw in the drop-off basically showed them that it's the least watched show by far, okay? And you got to think about this even in a quarterly and a yearly window, because Echo, I remember the Echo show, which we all make fun of Echo. Echo was binged as well. It only had 5 episodes. It has one of the worst fucking finales I've ever seen in my life, but I saw data suggesting that in a quarter and even a half of a year, Echo made up something like 8 to 13% of total viewership on Disney Plus. So Echo, even the Echo show, had the ability to get more views over time than the Wonder Man show. Okay, like, so I hope that's helping people understand this, because there's all these weird narratives out there where like a bunch of people are trying to suggest that Marvel now hates people of color or is becoming racist or something, and so they don't want the Wonder Man show to happen. That's fucking absurd. The reality is the show probably never should have been greenlit. It's a terrible fucking idea. Who actually is this show even for? And that's reflected in the data. It's reflected in the data. This is the same kind of data that you can see in Andor, by the way, because I remember when Andor season 2 was coming out. Remember how it charted? Remember how Andor charted and actually got like some pretty big viewership? When you really dissect that data, you see that 70% of those views that were coming in were from season 1. And what that actually meant was that Andor was grabbing headlines, Andor was getting some buzz, and then a whole bunch of people would go back and try to catch up, but they would usually give up. There's another interesting version of this, and that would be in the Rings of Power. I remember looking at the data for Rings of Power, and one of the things they said was that only 30% of the people that started Rings of Power watched all of it. And that's in season 1. Now, Amazon is in a little bit of a different situation where they're like, okay, but we really want this cachet. We want to have Lord of the Rings content on our streaming platform. We're willing to sort of eat that cost because we have so much cash flow, blah, blah, blah. We don't really care as much, okay? But you look at Andor, it's pretty unjustifiable, actually, because it costs $750 million for 2 seasons, and the viewership is just not there, man. It's just not there. And I still think Andor probably performs better long tail than Wonder Man did. So I just wanted to bring this up because Wonder Man, what I believe Jeff Snyder, like I think Jeff Snyder is correct. And if you really think that Jeff's just talking out of his ass, that this thing had 1.5 billion views or whatever in 10 days, and it was the hottest shit, and then they just randomly decide to cancel season 2 after, by the way, already greenlighting it, and after Destin having his big pop off with Spider-Man. Like, you are stupid. You are stupid. That's not how this works. The data must have been abysmally bad for them to cancel it, considering Destin's position, considering they had already greenlit it, considering the potential backlash. You have to understand that this shit had to be so terribly low in viewership that I think that they should just probably release the full data and show us, to put this to bed, to put the kibosh on all the weirdo narratives that are coming out there from butthurt people that are super in their feelings. It didn't work. And therefore, you will not see more of it. And I think that's appropriate. I think Marvel is finally actually doing what they always should have done, and that's to be an adult and do characters and projects that are going to work and recognize when things are not working, pull the plug on certain things. Scarcity has value. No more Wonder Man. Okay. Now, one other thing here, too, before I see what's going on in chat, because I want to see what you wild animals have to say about this. There is an ongoing debate in the fandom, mostly due to Jeff Snyder and Alex Perez, about what will be the future of the Marvel Disney Plus shows in general. Jeff is reporting that they are going away from the live action shows. And I think what he really said was they're no longer going to do big budgeted appointment television with Marvel characters. That is going away. You're not going to see that again. And instead, they're probably looking for characters more like Daredevil that can exist at a lower budget, but also can exist without actually interfacing with the other big movie things. Because what they really want is the shows to just be a fun side thing for folks that want them. They have no connective tissue to the movies. At least this is kind of like what Jeff is saying. And so they want to really focus on the movies. It's all about the movies, and the Disney Plus stuff will become truly secondary. Alex Perez seems to think that's crazy. To be fair to Alex, it does seem like we might get some announcements of upcoming live action shows. And once we see that, we'll know who was right about this. But I've heard from some reliable people that Vision Quest will be the last of those kind of shows. I mean, Paul Bettany is a huge fucking star. Any studio, any idea, any channel, any show that wanted Paul Bettany to star was going to have to cough up some serious dough. And that's true of this show as well. Like, that's a probably, like, Vision Quest will probably end up being a pretty big budgeted show. I think it's the last that we will see of those kind of shows with those kind of characters coming out from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I think. So, chat, with all of that said, what do you make of this? What do you make of this? Let's see here. Wonder Man is simply the project that has woken folks up to the MCU's treatment of black characters. No, dude, you're fucking wrong, dog. You're fucking wrong. It has nothing to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. And Wonder Man's a white character in the comics, so they very easily could have done it with a white character. It would have been just as meaningless, just as stupid, just as skippable, especially if that's the only thing you changed. If that's the only thing you changed, dude, I don't give a fuck if he's black, white, purple, or yellow. I don't give a fuck about a character that's like, I want to do this thing with the script and we're on set here. No, brother. No! You're wrong. You're wrong. It's a bad look? What's a bad look? What is a bad look and why is it a bad look? Should we go to therapy? Is it therapy for chat now? Why is it a bad look? Because they're canceling the least watched show by far, a show that I couldn't handle 5 fucking minutes of? A character that's not popular even in the original comic book version. The optics? Fuck the optics, dude. Fuck the optics. Who gives a shit? You're going to cry about it in this chat. You're going to cry about it on Twitter for 3 fucking days. And you know how many times you're going to go see Avengers Doomsday? You know how many times you're going to go see the next Spider-Man movie? And Marvel figured that out. You're all talk. You're all talk with no fucking motion. No energy behind all the bullshit you complain about on social media. Where the fuck were you with the Marvels? Where the fuck were you with all of these other characters that you claim to care so much about? Nah, dog. God, I wish Kevin Feige would come in and throw salt in your eyes. Individually. Individually, I wish he'd come out, take his hat off, wipe the sweat from his balding head, and throw it in your eyeballs. Oh, the optics. Oh, I'm sure the optics are going to make it so Doomsday's not an incredibly successful movie. Oh, wait, the optics don't fucking matter. Come on. Who else got some stupid shit to say? Come on, man. I'm fired up. Where's the Ironheart fans? Dude, it's a bad look. Ironheart, then Wonder Man. You know what's a bad fucking look? Deciding those characters deserved shows and hundreds of millions of dollars of budget. Because now we have to have these kind of conversations because you're in your fucking feelings. Because we're all supposed to, what? Out of charity, give a fuck about these characters? Dude, viewership is not charity. I'm not going to watch shit or root for it because I'm supposed to. I'm not going to do anything because I'm supposed to feel bad about it. And most normal motherfuckers operate on that level. The 12 of you in chat that don't operate like that are not even close to 1% of the total box office. And the adult thing to do, the mature thing to do, is to recognize that and politely tell you to fuck off. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yeah, and that's real talk. That's what it is. Blade, Wonder Man, Ironheart. I'm sensing a pattern. My God. My God. The pattern is those projects didn't work out. 2 of them did. And they had no viewership. They didn't warrant the resources that were spent on them. And also, when you look at the demographics of the Spider-Man's movie, which had an incredible turnout from the black community, you sort of realize that, again, these 12 people that are super butthurt about it, that are trying to create this narrative around race, they're obviously not affecting the huge amount of the black community that came out for Spider-Man, Punisher, and the Hulk, dude. Hulk's green, and that's the closest out of black that you get with that core cast of characters. So not a monolithic group, but it's pretty obvious that's not the actual motivating factor for the vast majority of even your own community, dude. Like, what do you want? Like, dog, what do you want? Like, you really want to rain on our parade and make it about your feelings about these characters? Brother, I'm sorry, you're sensitive. You're sensitive. We never know what the Blade viewership would be. Well, Blade's a popular character. I love Blade. I hope they make Blade. I'm not sitting here saying like what do you think? That I'm like, yeah, dude, fuck it, cancel Blade too. No. The reality is that shit didn't work out. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, oh, dude, that's really crazy. It's a super bad look, so they better figure some shit out and get desperate about it because of the optics. No, brother, make good content. Make good content. Make good content. Lean on popular characters. Do things that work. Be an adult. This is a publicly traded company. This is 4-quadrant mass appeal entertainment. We cannot allow the feelings of a dozen sensitive people on the internet to dictate what a major corporation spends its resources on. That is crazy talk. And to be fair, here's the other thing about this too. Because look, I'm gonna be real. I get it. For some of you, I totally get it. You're wrong still, but I understand your feelings. The reality is Marvel never should have even played the optics game because it eventually arrives here. It's never good enough. And the people will just try to eat you alive. And that's another reason why they never should have gone in this direction. They never should have done all new different Marvel. They never should have tried to make this just diversity, 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 because then it doesn't work out. They have to course correct, and then you call them racist. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, probably the mistake was the idea that it was even doable, and the reason they tried to do it was because of optics. Fuck optics, man. Fuck optics. Okay, anyway, great segment. I'm glad that nobody got super heated. Nobody got upset. We're all on the same page. We're going to end that segment there, and we're going to catch up on some super chats, all right? Wonderful. I love a Monday morning stream, baby. I love getting on the same page. Nothing but positivity in the air. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. Okay, let's catch up on some super chats here, okay? I politely disagree. Okay, Jay Lavin says, Josh, I love Bleach. Can't wait to watch the new episode. Did you hear about Melton being considered for Kakashi in the Naruto movie? I did not hear about that. Possibly why he's not Beast. Ooh, girl, that could be interesting. That could be interesting. I'm super excited about that Naruto movie. To be real, though, I am not a big Naruto guy as far as the anime. My best buddy, super into Naruto. He's made me watch some of the big fights. I generally understand like the power system and all that, but I'm not a Naruto head. But I think Destin does incredible work, other than Wonder Man, of course. But I think Destin does incredible work, so I'm super excited to see his Naruto movie. I think it's gonna be dope. All right, let's see what frickin' Phil had to say with a $50 holla. Says, I read the fine print of the terms and conditions of being a Nerdvenger, and it says that any theory that is mentioned in the Discord or chat is owned by Josh. So we're cooked. But the joke is on Josh because all the Heather theories are also his Nerdvengers for life. How dare you, Phil? Phil, do you remember the ridiculous ass theory that you had that day when I opened it up to the Discord? Do you remember that? Had something to do with the used condom? It was disgusting. So, Phil, still doing his thing. Still doing his thing. Appreciate that 50, man. Ethan says, do you think Doom might kill Loki, God of Time, in Doomsday? I think that's a possibility. Yes, I think it's a high possibility. They should probably think about the optics, though. Rossi says, deep breath. Oh, yeah, thanks, man. Nick's Tape says, nah, you are cooking, Josh. Well, I don't know if I'm cooking, but I certainly got upset. Sir Olivio says, hashtag best rant ever. Hashtag reasonable ranting. What about Black Panther 3? What about Storm? Numbers don't lie. Love this channel. Am I a glazer now? Yeah, dog, you glazing. Look, I get it. To be honest with you, I should have handled that better. I shouldn't have got so upset. But at the same time, like, dude, I'm just a dude. I'm just a real dude that's sick of hearing this shit, man. Like, I'm sorry. I understand you feel that way. There should have been adults in the room years ago that patted you on the head and told you you were crazy. The fact that a lot of people for the last, I don't know how many ever years, fed into that delusion is not your fault. But it's not my fault either. I'm trying to make sense of it. 10 toes down, you're fucking wrong. But it's okay. And you can feel that way. And you can also feel that I am wrong. but I'm not going to placate, dude. I'm not going to play this game. I'm not going to act like I don't have a well-reasoned understanding. I've been covering this shit for 10 years. I'm in the fucking trenches, 50 plus hours a week. I watched the whole thing happen. Okay? You're wrong. Anyway. Rashi says with $2 holla, rank the characters. Wonder Man, Ironheart, Heather. Heather's the worst. Ironheart's the second worst. Wonder Man's the best. Not to be sexist. What about the optics on that answer? Is that bad? David says, hang on. This is why I'm a nerd venture. You're the man, dude. I'm just a guy, man. I just got strong opinions. The optics is what caused She-Hulk. Yeah. Expo City says, next, I'm going to hear the Waller show got canceled due to optics. Yeah. Again, it's like, you just gotta... I'd like to move on, but I just think that there's absolutely nothing wrong with standing 10 toes down when you see the thing for what it is. And I do think there's been a little bit too much of this like coddling. There's been a lot of like fear or guilt from certain kinds of people. It's like, whatever, man. Like there's nothing about what I am saying that is bigoted or wrong. It's like, no, like that's what it is. And I'm not going to allow any sort of like pressure or this idea that like I should feel bad about thinking that. Nah, dog, like it's just thoughts. That's how I see it. I think a lot of other people saw it that way too, man. If you see it a different way, that's fine. But I certainly don't. And Ducks FTW with a $20 holla says, money for the rant. Fuck optics. Oh, thank you very much, man. I appreciate the $20 holla. Any more unannounced Fox characters in Doomsday? Not that I know about offhand, but keep your imagination open. I think there could be some really good shit in there. 100%. PQ4 1950 gifted membership. You probably hit the wrong button. Holy shit. You probably hit the wrong button. That's a big $50 50 memberships. Holy shit, that's way more than $50. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Legend of Sage with a 5 spot says, it's not like they didn't try to make things work. There are multiple writers and directors at Blade, and it didn't work. Now bring in Blue Marvel and Cook. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, man, people really just kind of get in their feelings and have their own interpretations, and they want to associate narrative and all these things to it. I get it, but man, like I'm just telling you, that's not it. They did try. They literally tried. And I think they tried to bring in a lot of voices. And unfortunately, a lot of those voices they brought in, I think were not the right people for the job. So it is what it is, but I appreciate the support. Darth Snape says, 38 months. Every time you think of the weather, I hope it reminds you of Heather. We got Dr. Seuss over here. Sir Alivio says, thinking Wonder Man or Ironheart was a good idea is Gunn thinking Creature Commandos or Clayface is a good idea. We're all nerds. We all know these prospects are ridiculous. Yeah, man. Yeah, totally. I just, you're never going to get me to think otherwise. It was a bad idea, dog. And the thing that I find so mind-blowing is All Different Marvel didn't do shit in the comics either. It was terrible. The sales were abysmal. So I don't even understand why they did it. I think at some level, Kevin thought, well, I'm the GOAT, so I can do this better than the comics did. And look, Kevin does care about elevating voices. I think there was even an interview where he talked about how it felt as though after the Infinity Saga, it's time to sort of share this wealth, this crazy storytelling brand and this cachet and this prestige. And they did bring in a whole bunch of people. I just think that there was a lot of misguided decisions. Probably everybody was stretched thin, not enough quality control. And I've talked about this before, but there were some instances where Kevin should have asserted himself more strongly, but he was worried about the optics. Not good. That is not a good look. The Exit says, Cyclops about to blast the optics in Doomsday. That's what I'm talking about. Frost Road Damas says, 68 months, homie. We are moving. And the Spider-Man you sent me will have a special place. Keep going, man. Nerve Vengeance for life. Fuck optics for life. Oh, man. I've created a monster. Okay, well, look. I didn't really plan for that segment to go off the rails the way that it did. So let's bring it down. And let's shit all over DC a little bit here, and we'll all feel a lot better, okay? Now, is there any butt hurt in the chat that I must address? How can I help? How can I make you guys feel a little better? Is everybody okay? You know it's okay if you disagree with me, right? Like, it's even okay if you're really mad. Like, it's all good. You've got certain people on your side now, Josh? Yeah, maybe. I need your opinion on this. On what? If James leaves because of the merger, then we'll break out the champagne. Yeah, let's bring a bunch of people that hate comics. Not a great idea. Yeah, I know, right? Not a great plan. I still have the Tobey Maguire you sent me from years ago when you would do gambling and giveaway. Really? That's awesome, dude. I'd love to get back to that, man. I'm just juggling so much, you know? It's a great job, but I'm trying to do better, you know? I think some kids want to see a black or brown character in live action. I understand that they aren't popular, but they are needed. I think there's some truth to that, but I also think good characters are sort of elevated past that. Like, you can see yourself in any great character that has great qualities regardless of race, and I think it just gets weird where you're like, oh, well, you shouldn't really do that because that's not, like, am I not supposed to like fuck with T'Challa because I'm white? Like, that's so weird. Do you think that that was the way any of those writers viewed that character? Like, that's crazy. And then again, like, I think if you look at the Spider-Man thing, people really love Peter Parker. The black community came out like crazy for Peter Parker, for Bruce Banner, for the Punisher. So although I wouldn't go as far as to say you're wrong on that, because I do think there's value in being able to see yourself in another character, I also think that if you look at the history of fiction, what has really prevented people from being able to see themselves as a particular hero or as a particular villain, right? I don't think it's like that simple, but I understand. I understand the point you're making. I don't think you're crazy off base there. T'Challa was the shit. They just don't do shows as well as movies, trying to get them to promote not as popular characters. They need bigger ones to draw them in. Yeah. And I really like T'Challa. And look, I'm a guy that thinks not recasting T'Challa was a massive mistake. And I think they did that for optics too. And I think that was a disaster. So yeah, I get it. The way the character is handled is how we connect. I totally agree. I actually think it's like kind of weird. Like, that almost strikes me as, and I'm not accusing you of this, but that almost strikes me as like this sort of liberal racism where, have you ever seen this idea of like I forget what they call it, but it's like technically some of the most left-leaning people that think about race actually come to some of the same conclusions as some of the most extreme people on the right that think about race. And it's like, wow, actually, y'all kind of deserve each other. Like, y'all are kind of being really fucking weird about this shit. And I just don't think that any particular person is so identifiable with any particular group that they become this monolithic, thing throughout the world. Like, that's weird. And I do think that there's not enough focus on like leftist racism or like liberal racism and stuff like that. But the other reason, to kind of take a step back, right? Horseshoe theory, yeah. So the other reason that this sucks, though, is because, like, dude, I don't want to be talking about race theory. Are you fucking kidding me? And the fact that they created shows in a situation, an environment in which that becomes the conversation, you fucked up, dog. Like, that is them fucking up. Because, like, I don't want to talk about that shit. I just want to talk about, like, T'Challa and shit because he's awesome. Or I want to talk about Spider-Man because he's awesome, or what he's doing, the motivations, all that sort of stuff. This, again, is a sort of optics thing. Yeah, and I don't like it. English is not my first language, but what in the hell does optics mean? Okay, so what it would mean is, like, how is it going to look to the internet, to the public? If you cancel all of your shows that star black characters, there is an optic or a look that could be perceived as you just don't like your black characters. That's what optics is. Hope that makes sense. My 3-year-old loves Dr. Doom, and we've watched the trailer 100+ times now. He repeats the lines and everything. It's great. Oh, dude, is he going to be able to handle the darkness, though? Is he going to be able to handle the darkness? Is he going to be able to handle Doom killing Tobey Maguire? Oh! I'm really curious. I wonder. All right. It seems like everybody's calmed down. As a DC fan first, I'm not interested in the Green Lantern show at all, and I'm not watching. I need to know about episode 2. Enough about this race shit. Yeah, totally. Let's get into it. Let's talk Lanterns, huh? By the way, chat, did y'all watch Lanterns episode 2? How do you feel about Lanterns episode 2? Before I give my thoughts, what do you think about it? Lanterns episode 2. Was it good? Was it bad? Didn't finish it yet? Okay. Episode was great. Okay. Lanterns are beautifully done. Okay. People like it. Okay. Was watchable. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll give some thoughts on it now too. Okay. So Lanterns episode 2 comes out last night. And I got to I thought it was fascinating because I legitimately found myself excited to watch the next episode. Yeah, it's wild. Like I tweeted this out. I'm actually excited for Lanterns tonight. Who have I become? But I did authentically find myself excited to sit down and watch Lanterns episode 2. And I did watch it. I think it's getting pretty good viewership too. I think people are liking it, man. So it's kind of interesting that DC kind of found themselves here with maybe a little bit of a win. I really liked the first episode. And I was curious as to how I would feel about the second episode. Now, I got to be honest with you. I liked it, and I'm still riding with the show. I'm still incredibly excited to see the next episode. They're doing a good job with these little, like, teases and these cliffhangers, and, you know, the Sinestro thing was really cool, and I want to see more of that. But I will say I felt this was a weaker episode than 1. I felt like the dialogue between Hal and John was literally not as good. And I don't know exactly, like, it almost feels like there's an episode missing because John is like more vocal, more upset, more able to actually kind of talk back to Hal, and Hal is more open, and it almost feels like I'm missing an episode. And also, I just feel like the chemistry took a leap back. I don't know if you guys felt this way or not. The chemistry between the two, I felt, took a big leap back. So I was a little disappointed with that, where I was like, well, that's kind of weird. This feels uneven. There's also an element of the show where at some point we're going to have to talk about the budget. Okay? Because there's this rule in movies and TV shows called show, don't tell. All right? And we had a tell, don't show moment in this episode. Jon Stewart gets the memories implanted into him of when a manhunter wiped out this group of alien beings, and it's brutal, and the acting was great. Like, I think Aaron did great in that scene. But are you fucking kidding me, bro? Like, we don't get to see any of that shit? That's crazy. That's crazy. And, you know, the ring's out of juice, so we're not getting a lot of constructs. It's like, I almost felt like there was a big meeting, all hands on deck, where they're like, we don't have a budget, so we need various reasons why we're not going to show what would otherwise cost a lot of money to show in the show. And that's kind of unfortunate. So the budget is, like, so noticeable. Even when Hal puts the suit on and flies to whatever, maybe this is Oa, maybe it's just like a base or something, or a prison, It's so bad. It's so sparse. You don't see a lot. They hide the budget with like certain kinds of shots. It just looks ridiculous. So I find myself in an interesting spot with the show because I love the Green Lanterns. So some of you guys know this in chat. I love the Green Lanterns. It's my favorite thing from DC. I've read a ton of them. These are like the characters I really fuck with. I think the Green Lantern ring is the coolest weapon in all of fiction. It's cooler than a lightsaber. You know why it's cooler than a lightsaber? Because it can make lightsabers. It could make a fucking Gundam-sized lightsaber. Dude, the Green Lantern ring is the coolest shit ever in all of fiction. And I find myself enjoying the show, enjoying what it has to offer, and it is technically using the Lantern ring, the Green Lantern lore, and it's in this show that a lot of people seem to like. That is a win. And as somebody that was like, dude, if this show is terrible, we're probably cooked. Like, it's probably over for Green Lanterns and lanterns in general, because like you have the emotional spectrum, you got the Black Lanterns, the White Lanterns. Like, dude, the Lantern stuff is really, really dope. So as somebody that loves the Green Lanterns and realized how close we were to Green Lanterns being pushed out of pop culture basically forever, I think the show's good enough, and I'm still enjoying it, and I'm glad other people are enjoying it. Okay? But between the budget, between the sort of shakiness of the chemistry between the two characters, and also, yes, because I just binged Bleach, and anime and Bleach is cooking in ways like, dude, I'm just telling you, like, if you were to watch these episodes of Bleach, even if you don't watch anime, even if you don't like anime, and you look at the scale of these fights, you look at the effects, the animation that's put into them, the crazy powers, the power scaling and the fun, they are cooking in a way that is just blowing people away. It's all over Twitter, dude. They're bringing up the different forms, the different fights, the different shots. People are gushing about this thing. It's trending. It's crushing it. And Lanterns is doing great, especially for a DC show. But we're not sharing all this like, I can't believe they did this. I can't believe this action sequence did this. I can't believe this, that, second, and the third. Like, dude, if you've read Green Lantern comics, if you realize how crazy that shit gets, like the Lanterns themselves are some of the most colorful, exploratory, over-the-top, crazy levels of action in all of comics. Because the constructs could be anything. The constructs are amazing. When you know that, and when you've seen the comics, and you see what they can do, and then you look at this show, which is really like a Tyler Sheridan show with a little bit of Green Lantern stuff, I can't help but feel a little let down. Okay? Now, asterisk caveat to that is that, of course, we're early on. We're 2 episodes in. Maybe they saved a lot of the budget for some really cool stuff later on. The stuff with Sinestro, Oa, potentially Atrocitus, the Manhunters, all that sort of stuff is really cool, dude. Like, it's really cool. So I have hope that maybe they'll even dial that up. And if they do dial it up, this could be like one of my favorite comic book shows of all time because I love the Lanterns. But I also like I don't know. I guess what I would say is the first episode to me was like an 8 out of 10. This is like a 7 or a 6 out of 10 in episode 2. Like truly a step down. And it does have me just a little bit worried about what the show will do from here. But again, They do have elements. It's just like, what is the budget? Like, real talk, chat. Do we know what the budget of this show actually is? And have they talked? Like, has anybody there, like Lindelof or Tom King or any of these people, have any of these people said that you're gonna have crazy stuff later? Like, is there any indicator that we are gonna get some hyped up visual effects down the line? Because otherwise, yeah, I don't know about this one, man. You know what I mean? I don't know about this one. So what do you guys think, man? Loki could use AI to substitute the lack of budget? Yeah, I know. And some people will scream at the top of their lungs, but that's actually true. AI could solve this problem. And AI, by the way, will solve this problem. Dog, I don't usually like Lindelof or Tom King, but I like the episode. Why the fuck? They hear at least one white privilege line every episode. Yeah, no, dude, I get it. But my thing with that is, And this is why, like, I get into so much trouble, is like, I genuinely hate both sides. I think the culture war is so stupid. And I literally hate both sides of the culture war. So look, to understand, with love, I hate all of you. All of your takes are terrible. Because, yes, that is annoying. But the idea of getting super butthurt about that one particular line in this episode, I think, is way more annoying than the show itself. But that's just my opinion, okay? So I'll try not... I just did a whole rant. I don't want to get into a whole nother rant where now I attack the other side. But I do despise the culture war. I despise it. I despise both sides. I despise the takes. I despise the butthurt. I despise it. Big Space Marine news? What's the news? Adam, what's the news? Totally fair. I just can't stand it. Yeah, I get it. There are things that I can't stand in these things as well. But like, dude, you know what they're doing. You know, it's just there to either upset you or get somebody to go rah, rah. And it's like, dude, I can just ignore it. Josh, first of all, good morning, my bald friend. Wait, what? Second of all, what do you think the reason is behind Wesley Snipes' Blade, arguably good and got the green light, whereas Mahershala got scrapped? Optics? God damn it. No, it's not optics. They're probably trying to do something too fancy. I mean, to be honest with you, the rumor was, and this came from Jeff Snyder, or maybe Tatiana Siegel, the rumor was at one time the Blade movie was going to be about strong women. So, you know, optics, right? Big Space Marine news. The new Codex Space Marines is on the way. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. What? Space Marines are going up to T5? Ain't no way. Oh, their weapons are going up to... No, they are T5. What? Phobos get toughness 4 but go to movement 8? What? What? Oh my god, that's crazy. Guys, that's actually pretty crazy. Wow, okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Thanks for that, Adam. I'm going to dig into that later. Or should we just shift into Warhammer news? Should we shift into Warhammer news? Chat, should we just make it a Warhammer stream now? I want to see Hal Jordan with the monitors, book writing, and the anti-life equation. Yeah, that would be interesting. Like whether it was the source wall or something, like, dude, yeah, that kind of stuff would be really cool. I would be into that. I would be into that. Lock in. Okay, I'm locked in. I'm locking in. Relax. Let's finish up. Let's finish up some DC talk here, huh? Another 3-hour stream. I know. What the fuck? Oh, no. Oh, no. Josh, I love you, bro, but you're such a hard judge on some of these shows. Can't wait to see Unity. Now, I am actually a super, yeah, I think I am pretty harsh. I'm pretty critical, for sure. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. I think there might have been a time when I was a little bit more open to these things, but, you know, I get fatigued, and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to waste my time on this stuff if I don't think it's good. And because that's kind of the metric, I think I've become pretty discerning. Do you guys think I'm a tough critic? Do you guys think I'm harsh on these shows? I like Ahsoka. Ahsoka's ending was whack, but I like the show. You should do an MTG stream. You think so? That's why I love you, because you always are. Uh-oh. No, because you like Man of Steel. What the fuck does that mean, the Ginger Law? What the fuck you trying to say with that, huh? By the way, every time I edit, I think I should swear less. And then I stream it, I don't. Boo! I wouldn't trust your critic more because you watched the whole show like Moon Knight. Oh, that's fair. Yeah. I think that's totally fair. You just have battered Marvel syndrome? That's a good one. Oh, shit. Okay. Apparently I'm racist and woke. That's quite interesting. I didn't even know that was possible. If you're starting for when Doctor Strange didn't show up in WandaVision, it started for you when Doctor Strange didn't show up in WandaVision? Yeah, probably. Swear more? No, I should be more pleasant. It's a family show. You know, we talk about race theory and stuff, very, very family friendly. For this fucking Gen Alpha brain rot generation. You guys need to go outside, man. Josh, what pack of bundles of the Marvel Superheroes MTG have you bought? Any sick pulls? Also, what other 4 options do you think they're going to roll out for the coming series? Guardians of the Galaxy, Nova, and X-Men. Yeah, X-Men for sure, because there's a lack of X-Men, I think. You got some good X-Men, but there's a lack of X-Men. So I think mutants for sure. They did Spider-Man. I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe a cosmic set where it's really cosmic oriented. You could do a ton of cool characters there that you haven't done. But yeah, as far as my pulls, the best pull I got was the comic book cover Ultron. And other than that, I got some basic extended art versions. I got the really valuable version of Mjolnir, Thor's Hammer Mjolnir, which is cool. But yeah, I'm excited to play more. I have a deck right now that I play in standard. It's a standard deck on Arena, and it's a blue-red Artifacts Matters with a lot of the Iron Man, a lot of Marvel stuff. And it's good, dude. I've been beating people's asses. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. Yeah, you're pretty tough, but I enjoy you having your own opinion. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. The day I can't let my daughters listen to your show will bring a tear to my eye. Oh, no. See, I really should be more chill. You know? I really should be more chill. I'm jealous of people like Eric Voss, to be honest. You know, because he's just very media trained. Like, he can you think Eric Voss doesn't get off camera and go scream about race theory and batter people in his own personal life? I'm absolutely certain he does. And yet, he has the wherewithal, he has the ability to keep his fucking mouth mostly shut, unless he's saying uppy, keepy uppy. And I admire that. I wish I had more control. But what you see is what you get with me, motherfuckers. And it's honestly your fault. Because we were live and you're like, poke the bear. Poke the bear. You know? Voss would be if he was live as much as you. I agree. If he had to deal with chat as much as I do, he would turn. You don't know the power of the dark side. If he could be turned, a powerful ally he would become. Oh, just felt like Rodden says, Josh, I got a Chase to finally attend a stream today. Is that your son or daughter? Who's Chase? And I'm glad you were here, Chase. I actually think you could have picked maybe a better stream where I didn't go crazy in my first segment. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, it looks like I missed a few chats here. Helix says, what if Tony did more with the stones than just erase Thanos? He could have used the Soul Stone and reality to give himself a new life in another form. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, man, that's kind of interesting. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. That's for sure. Okay, I think that's probably good on the lanterns. You guys are feeling me on that. Shit's weak. Needs to be better, bigger budgeted, but also not bad. But also not bad. All right, last topic of the day, chat. Last topic of the day. We got to talk about the X-Men. Is this the Hot Mic podcast here? Let me just double check this. Yeah, it is. Cool. Okay. All right, chat, let's talk about the X-Men and the X-Ladies, because we just got word that Indy is reportedly set to make her debut as Rogue in Avengers Secret Wars. This is according to Jeff Snyder via the Hot Mic podcast, okay? Now, this is pretty crazy because I'm seeing just so many photos of her. She's so stunning, man. I was very unfamiliar with her game, but the internet is catching me up on that, so that's kind of interesting. But also, this implies that now we will have 2 of the new MCU X-Men that will be in Secret Wars. One will be Jean Grey, Sadie Sink's Jean Grey, and one will be Indy as Rogue. Now, this is pretty interesting here. I wonder, are we going to get some of the Fox X-Men and some of the new X-Men together? Are these going to be characters that are under the spell of Victor in Battleworld, meaning they don't really remember their past lives? How then does that actually set them up for the next saga, right? Because, you know, look, we have to explain this to people that are not fully aware. We have to explain this to the normies. It really seems like after Battleworld is created, the vast majority of characters will not remember their past lives. So we don't really know what's going on with Rogue around the time of Spider-Man Brand New Day. Obviously, Jean at that point, I think they say she's, 16 in that movie? She's young in that movie. And so from the time her sister gets taken away to the time that she's tracking her down with damage control, she's probably like 15 or 16. She's a teenager. But she is maturing, and obviously her powers are maturing too. Is that a similar thing for Rogue? I mean, they seem to be the same age. Is Indy's Rogue also going to be about that age? And then when we get into Battleworld, if she's just one of the characters that doesn't remember her past and she's just Rogue, is she Rogue in a mutant section of Battleworld? And if that's the case, then is she even wearing her Rogue outfit? Maybe she'll be in a Savage Land. Like, dude, I'm telling you right now, Kevin, like, my soul is yours. If you put her in the Savage Land Rogue costume on Battleworld, that could absolutely work for me personally. But again, you know, we got to think about the optics, so maybe not the best look. But yeah, so maybe we get something like that. More likely, though, that she'll be in a version of the Rogue costume so that she's recognizable as Rogue, but it'll probably be a 1602 medieval Game of Thrones aesthetic. And this is probably being done to give us some kind of introduction and some kind of flavor with these different characters. And to see her just being Rogue in Secret Wars, that will be badass. Like, that will be really cool. I guess I'm just wondering, how effective can this actually be in setting things up for the MCU X-Men reboot if nobody remembers Secret Wars, right? Because Secret Wars is happening on Battleworld. The rest of the multiverse is over. But all of the leaks that we have for Secret Wars kind of indicate that at the end of that movie, the multiverse will be set back the way that it was before. So if we just go back to where Rogue was before, then it's very unlikely that Rogue would remember her time on Battleworld. In fact, one of the biggest questions about Secret Wars in general is how many of the characters from that movie will remember that at all when we go back. There has to be some. Like, there absolutely has to be some characters. In the traditional comic books, I think it was like Reed and his family. Victor remembers. There are other characters that remember too. I'm blanking on some of them. But you would have to imagine some of those characters will remember the Secret War, right? But the vast majority of characters are probably not. So will this even work? Like, it's fan servicey. It seems fun. I think it's great for the actors. They get to play and they get to be in Secret Wars. And I think that's really cool. But will it have any effect at all on what happens next? If Tony Stark remembers, and Tony Stark actually does come back, and the mutants are a big problem on Battleworld, then maybe Tony's memories of Secret Wars and what the mutants were able to do on Secret Wars does become a part of, like, maybe how he helps out Damage Control, or maybe he builds some Avengers versus X-Men, you know, kind of I'm against the mutants now sort of a thing here. Yeah, I'm not really sure. And then it's like, okay, is the whole freaking X-Men cast going to show up? Like, because we clearly have these X-Men from the Fox universe, right? And then we're just going to go into Secret Wars, and it's going to be what? All the new X-Men? Like, we'll go to where the mutants are at, and it's our new Charles, right? It's maybe our new Magneto. It's the whole new cast of the X-Men. We heard maybe the Champions were involved in that. You know what I mean? And then there's some word that, like, Franklin will be revealed to be an Omega level mutant. Billy and Tommy might be revealed to be mutants. But again, unless some people remember that, like, how's that going to feed into what happens next? So it's certainly interesting. I, at this point, would expect to get a lot of the new X-Men in there. Like, Cyclops is probably in there. Some of these other characters are probably in there as well. I just don't know how, like, until we get more information about this, I don't know how that's actually going to help the X-Men reboot. Other than us being like, oh yeah, she was Rogue in Secret Wars, but now she's totally different Rogue that doesn't remember any of that. Cool. Or maybe there is something that happens in Secret Wars where they don't get out clean, and the memories of Secret Wars become important via Jean Grey, via Phoenix, via the First Firmament, via Eternity itself. I don't know. But this is coming from Jeff. I think he's right about this, and I think Jeff is pretty reliable. So, chat, with all of that being said, man, what do you think about this? Like, first of all, what do you think about Rogue being in Secret Wars? Okay. Do you think they're all going to be in there? Do you think they'll all remember? What's the deal? What's the deal with this? Will Jean remember the Secret Wars? Well, that's a good question, and I would say that Jean is one of the characters that's most likely to remember it. But if the spell is like Doctor Strange's spell, then even Jean won't be able to remember, because, like, when she goes into Zendaya, MJ's mind, the memories are not there. However, one of these little sub theories, right? Like, one of the little sub theories is that when she had her secondary mutation and she got powered up, that Jean might have actually been able to unlock some shit. Because at the end of the movie, remember, she's like touching that necklace, and then Ned does the handshake. So maybe Jean, at a high level of power, actually would be able to bring those memories back, and maybe that's what she'll be doing in Secret Wars. And then maybe that means, yes, she would be one of the characters that remembers. Maybe Phoenix remembers. Maybe it's one of those things where the mutants get subjugated in Secret Wars, or, like, you know, maybe Phoenix views their ascension and then going back as a bad thing. So maybe Phoenix has the memories of all those X-Men on Battleworld, and so when Phoenix starts, you know, possessing Jean or whatever, that's when you get into some of that stuff, right? What are the odds we get Rogue versus Captain Marvel in Doomsday Secret Wars? I've seen other people bring this up as well, and I think it's kind of a fun idea. Like, it would be cool. I have all the same questions. What if nobody remembers it? What if it's a reset? Will those powers transfer over? You know, like, don't get me wrong. I would love for her to grab Brie Larson by the titties and drain the power from her and leave her on the ground to die. Okay? But I don't always get what I want. And I also don't understand how that would then translate back into the multiverse once it's all reset. Right? John Johnson says, in some serious need of nerd venging, was driving my car this morning and one of the tires basically launched into another zip code. All are okay. Holy shit. That's scary, brother. I'm glad you guys are okay, though. That is scary. Just felt like Rad says, to be honest, what the fuck universe is this? It's certainly not 616 or 919. Oh, you mean the Secret Wars universe? No, it's going to be its own thing, but it seems like it's going to be taking a lot of elements from all kinds of universes and smashing them all together. So, and then we say, this is the Lanterns thing. Expo City says, I'm riding with Lanterns, but it reminds me of the MCU shows. Watching 8 episodes just to see a character finally be the hero and get his costume. Yeah, no, I actually agree with that. Like, but it's a good version. I guess what I would say is it's a good version of a comic book show that I think we might all be outgrowing. It's yet to be determined how the show will end. It's also yet to be determined how much of a, like, how willing is the audience able to accept that show for what it is, even if it's done well. Because we might get to the end of Lanterns and be like, wow, that was really well done for the kind of show that I never want to see again. You know what I mean? And that might be okay. So, yeah, interesting take. Interesting take there, sir or madam. Any other thoughts on this X-Men thing, guys? What do you think's the deal here with the X-Men thing? A lot of people talk about that Captain Marvel thing, huh? A lot of people talking about that shit, huh? Yeah, Josh wants it. A lot of people want it, huh? That sounds hot. I mean, it does sound a little bit hot, yeah. Bring me all my new X-Men. Do you want them to remember it? Do you not care? Because this is like a reverse. I mean, it's still fan service, but it almost feels like a weird version of fan service. But I guess, you know, if you think about it, what's really the difference between these characters not remembering and like all the other characters not remembering? Because I'm pretty sure most of the characters are not going to remember. So maybe it's like, fuck it, let's have fun, put them in there, let them do some fun X-Men stuff, let them have their powers, and then they go. Maybe she's a part of the Thor Corps. Wouldn't that be wild? I'm pretty sure Rogue is worthy a couple times in comics. The audio's very quiet today? Ain't no way. Ain't no way, Josh Meadows. Is that true? Should I turn it up a little bit? Is that better? Is that better? Other people say the audio is too loud. Some people say it's too loud. Some people say it's too quiet. Did I show you guys my new sword? I got a long sword. Nice and long. It's sharp too. Josh, will the new Professor X remember stuff from the old Professor X? That's a good question. That's another thing that's really interesting. You know, man, I'm so interested in like what they're going to be doing with the X-Men, because like it is pretty wild that they're going to be in Secret Wars. And it's wild that we've seen Jean, but there's no school. Maybe she's going to the school at the end of the movie. Yeah. I'm very excited to see how they put all that together, man. I'm very excited. I think if you remember, it adds a bit of a consequences to the story, and wonder from the other characters. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Where's the chainsaw sword? It's right there. It's in the case. Oh, this is in front of it. There it is right there. You see it? Yeah. It's ultramarine colors. You know, it's fine. You know, it's fine. The ultramarine's aight. Not as good as the Dark Angels, of course. Of course, they're no Dark Angels, you know. Josh, I still think Doom takes Loki's powers, and there's something to the Molecule Man theory. Well, like I said, guys, right before stream today, I recorded a 40-minute video going over the new Doomsday plot leaks, and that should drop tomorrow on the main channel. So just watch that shit, because we go into all the details, man. Nice ASMR. Keep moving the mic and maybe wear something a little lower. What the fuck? What am I, a piece of meat? Remember the timeline loop was supposed to be reset by now, so the mutants coming out of the MCU was Kang's plan. Yeah, that could be, but then that would mean that he still wanted them delayed. He still like needed them out of the picture for certain things to happen the way that they did. And I think when you look at 838, that's an example of a universe that has everything going on all at once. And I hope they explain more of that shit with like Kang and the TVA and all that, right? Yeah, I hope we get more of that explanation. I think either way, bro, you know, people like you and me and the community, we'll dig in, you know, we'll dig in and we'll come up with all kinds of theories and have so much fun speculating about it. Obviously, the movie has to work for the normies. And there is a question of like, how sweaty can they get? But I will say that newest plot leak does imply that Loki does not just move Steve. Loki has a plan. Loki has his godlike powers at that time, which I did kind of say was probably what was going to happen. But now it seems to be pretty real. Pretty real. New Iron Man, new Wolverine, new Magneto, new Cap. There's some rumors out there. I'm not so sure. You know, I'm not so sure. But there are a lot of rumors about some new people being cast, including that new Wolverine. Maybe we'll get more on that. You know, Shine saying they're casting a new Wolverine. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. All right. Let's end that segment about the X-Men. I'm excited to see Indy, man. I hope she takes Captain Marvel's powers. That would be great. But I'm also like, what are they doing? Like, what are they even doing? Like, think about the optics. Like, this is crazy, you know? All right, chat. We're pretty much at the end of the stream. I'll chill with you guys for like 10, 15 more minutes. What's on your mind? What are you guys thinking about? Should I play a game of Magic the Gathering with my Marvel deck? Show you guys how good I am? Should I show you how good I am at it? Josh, if you poop in another universe, but you come back to your home universe, can the turd you left behind cause an incursion? I think it depends on what you ate. Man, that leaked photo of Doom in the white cloak. I know, man. I know. It's hype. I did a clip of that yesterday, so check that out. But yeah, man, yeah. Where can we find that shirt? I don't remember where I got this one. This was either FYE, maybe Box Lunch, maybe Hot Topic. I don't remember where I got this one. Based on your adopted Victor theory, why do Tony and Victor have different eye colors? Well, I'm not even sure that they do. I think some of that could be a little bit of the magic that's bringing out the different eye colors. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I don't think they have different eye colors. Did you see the Magic the Gathering Doom merch collab? What? Nah, where's that at? MTG Dr. Doom shirt. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. There's definitely some cool Doom shirts out there, though. If you see it, link me. Link me, bro. Link me, bro. Hey, bro, link me, bro. Did you see the MTG T'Challa promo? No! What? Having 616 be reset and as many new actors as possible would be great. I totally agree, man. I'm telling you, there was a time where maybe we thought that was going to be what it was. I don't think that's what it is anymore. Elijah, what up, brother? Says, think they intro 1 mutant at a time as a danger to our current heroes, making us scared of them, leading up to an X-Men team movie again. Well, it certainly seems like that could be the pattern. You're talking about like from Spider-Man into Doomsday into Secret Wars. But if the whole cast is in Secret Wars, I don't know if that's the same idea, right? It's just, I guess we'll see. John Johnson says 616 Heather manages to get 838 Heather into the raft. 838 says, thank you for saving me. 616 says, I saved myself. Jesus Christ. Well, I mean, at least that's creative. You know, at least you're getting creative. So thank you. When do we get the comic to MCU content for Doomsday, like Avengers Prime and the new Avengers stuff? You're right. I got to get on that. You're absolutely right. There's so much to do, though. I'm so busy, and I had to catch up on Bleach. You know, I'm excited about Warhammer and stuff. Like, dude, that Warhammer article. Dude, that Warhammer article that Adam just shared. Should we get into that right now and go over the details? Because my God, that's exciting stuff. Been rewatching Phase 1 of the MCU. Yinsen is also in Iron Man 3. Definitely Boris. Wait, what? Notice Tony is also believed in Banner. Does Doom have a mutual respect for anyone? Like that for anyone. Mad scientist bros. Doom has a lot of respect for different characters in Marvel. He does respect T'Challa. He does respect some of the mutants. That's actually an interesting question. We could do a whole video of that. Or like do a segment on stream. All the characters that Doom actually respects and why. That would be kind of fun. You think like an X-Men movie, would be an event movie like an Avengers movie? Yeah, probably. And I actually hadn't thought of what that might need to make the plot of the first movie. It would have to be very different than a lot of the other X-Men movies, because that sort of first time we're all getting together thing, it really works for Avengers 1. Can you do that with X-Men, or do you need an established team and new things going on? I don't know. That's really interesting. There's a lot of different ways they could take it. Yeah. Josh, you are my favorite YouTuber. Inspire me to get my comic page content up. Well, that is awesome, man. Thank you so much. I'm just a guy trying to, worry about the optics, and a lot of haters out there, and I can't believe they canceled Wonder Man. Fuck. So I'm glad you appreciate my takes. No established team? Yes, interesting. See my super. Your super got deleted, bud. one of my mods deleted your super, so I don't know if he just doesn't like you or if you put something crazy in there. But just throw it into the main chat. Just throw it into the chat, bro. It's all good, man. It's a family show. We're all friends here. Oh, I get your joke now, Matt, about the retiring. I get it, Matt Spiro. I understand. I need that X-Men guitar riff intro in the live action movie. I hope so. Yeah. Josh, your mods are way too trigger happy. That's how I like my mods. I mean, I get it, and you're probably right. If I was on the other side of it, I would be butthurt. But I like my mods like that. Like I think certain typos should get you banned, to be honest. Oh, you didn't mean it? Too bad, banned. Josh, you're my second favorite YouTuber, and you inspired me to start a Heather fan club. Thanks for nothing, Rossi. All your super chat did was make me feel bad about myself. I just said the MTG is the box lunch collab. Oh, okay. I'll have to check that out. I'm interested in your take on the new Doom comics. There's so much like challenges of Doom. Okay. Is this like in the thing where he's in the dungeon or whatever? I haven't read that. Do you think there's any chance they bring Kang back to the MCU as a big bad in the future? No, but they could connect Rama Tut and perhaps even Immortus to some stuff they're doing with Rockpocalypse or maybe the Celestials or something. So I think there's still a chance for there's potentially some chance for Kang, but as the big bad, nah, dog, I don't think so. See my vid about Doom's throne after the stream. Some actual substance into the throne theory. Dude, can you send me that? And also, I know you've been doing some shorts. You want to help me out with some shorts? Kendo! Help me out with some shorts, baby! Is Zdarsky killing it with Armageddon? I should read Armageddon, man. I should read Armageddon. I should give Chip a chance. I've always liked his stuff. I just want Marvel to get their shit together, bro. How are the optics of your camera setup? Terrible. I need a backlight, apparently. Everybody's telling me about this backlighting, and I asked Adam to send me stuff about the lighting setup, and he never sends me anything. And then he claims that he sent me some stuff for it. I didn't see that. Yeah, but read cap first. Okay. All right. All right. Did we cover the new Lanterns episode today? We did. My take is that I liked it, but I did feel like it was a step down from episode 1. And the budget is starting to concern me. I'm liking the show. Yeah. That's about all I can say. Audio? What about the audio? Check out 3-point lighting. Simple, easy, goes a long way. Yeah, Adam should be telling me about that. Why do I need a backlight anyway? Let's be real. I believe Adam. What? Believe me. Believe me. Set up his peak. It's aight. It's aight. You know, I think it's way better than what it used to be. You know, we have come a long way. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I think we're gonna get out of here. I appreciate everybody. Really didn't plan on getting so fired up in the Wonder Man take. All I was trying to do was explain that Marvel's doing the right thing. Fuck Wonder Man. Fuck optics. Everybody that's really sensitive about it needs to be completely ignored. Your opinions don't matter. We should scold you. That's all I was trying to say. You know, and you know, maybe I should have picked better words or had a better tone or whatever. So I appreciate you hearing me out on that, you know? Just felt like Radden says, what the fuck are the gods doing during the death of the multiverse? Like, where's the Celestials and the Pantheons at? Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. Are they all going to get wiped out? Are they going to explain that at all? I'm not really sure. I'm interested. I thought maybe there was going to be an attempt to like connect Thor's story to that, you know, considering that he saw Zeus and all that sort of stuff. But dude, I don't think they're connecting to that at all. So yeah, I don't really know, brother. I don't really know. Okay, guys, look, I'm out of here. No stream tomorrow, but you're going to get a massive video on the main channel breaking down the full Avengers Doomsday plot leaks. Make sure you check that out. We'll be back at it on Wednesday. We'll have some juicy streams. We'll be back at it on Friday. Tons of cool videos, tons of great content. We're going to do another deep dive too. Let me check my schedule. Maybe we could do another deep dive this weekend. If not, we'll do one next weekend. So hell yeah, man. The Marvel hype is back. People are so excited. So thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. And thank you for getting on this journey with me, man. This is fun times. That's what I talk about. All right. As I always say, I hope you, that's right, you, are having an awesome and a nerdy day. And I'll see you